What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast On the Bluff. I am Christian Williams, your host, executive producer. This is episode 2. I have a very, very special guest here in the building, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniele Lawson. I am an actress and journalism student with a African American Studies minor at LMU.
Danielle, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
First, let's just start with a mental check-in. You know, how are things going? We're back. We're back in school. This is about, I think it's week 3. Is it week 3?
Oh, it's about to be week 4.
Week 4 now, yeah. Yeah, so we're rolling. But how was your week? How was class? How was everything?
My week was great. It was pretty packed. I can't lie, I'm a little tired. But my classes are really, really nice. I'm taking a lot of African American Studies classes right now, and then I have a sports broadcasting class, which is pretty fun. We have different industry professionals come in each week and basically drop some gems and give us tips on how to navigate like the industry. And yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here, and I'm just excited for an amazing semester.
That's good. Same. Wishing everyone out there, you know, who views this, that's in school, you know, a good semester.
Yes.
Praying to, you know, have everyone do well this semester.
Amen.
Amen. So let's start with this, journalism, right? Let's start with, give me some do's and some, what do you think makes a good journalist?
Well, a journalist's number one obligation is to the truth. And I think journalists are not only storytellers, but they're very impactful people to our society. When you think of just where you get your news from, you look to journalists, you look to media outlets to help you navigate things that are going on in the current world and navigate your life personally. And I just think that journalists are essential to us, and it's super important that we're reporting information that's accurate and information that is going to help people better prepare themselves for anything like a natural disaster, or if there's rain, or just inform them. A journalist's job is to inform the people and present them with information, and then from there they choose to do whatever they want with it and make decisions for themselves.
I like that. So with that being said, with making the decisions for yourself, some of the ethics in journalism, and this is a question I had because you're someone who is actively a journalist and you're also in another world that we're going to talk about a little later. But how do you feel about the idea of privacy versus public interest? The idea that anything that you have, because your life is on public display, do you feel that as a journalist, do you have some more so like credibility to be able to get that public interest out, or how do you feel about that idea?
I feel like there's duality to it. Being that I am a journalist, but also being that I am an actress, it's kind of hard to navigate that fine line. I think that everyone, no matter if they're in the spotlight or not, deserves certain privacies and certain protection. But also as a journalist, you know, we have an obligation to exposing the truth and telling stories, breaking news. So it's kind of a hard thing to navigate, but we are all humans, and we all deserve to be protected. We all deserve to have our privacy. And sometimes I just think of like paparazzi, like invading and infringing on someone's privacy. And sometimes it's kind of sad to see, because it's like, if you're an actor or if you're an influencer or someone in the spotlight, the attention is always on you, whether you're having a good day or a bad day. So it's kind of hard to say that if you're in the spotlight, you deserve to not have your privacy. Yeah.
That makes sense. So the old ways of journalism versus the new ways of journalism. Do you find, which do you prefer? One, because there are new newer media outlets and more newer ways of journalism, such as even podcasting could be considered journalism. So,
Hmm.
are you someone who enjoys the old journalistic approaches, or are you kind of with the new, or do you navigate through both? Like, how do you feel about the overall totality of journalism?
Well, I'll just start by saying one of the most interesting things about journalism is learning the evolution and the history and how, it really started off like with the printing press and then the newspaper. Like that was the mainstream way people were able to get their information and get their media. And all the way to today, like if you're not even actively seeking news, you could just be scrolling on Instagram and boom, it's the New York Times or boom, it's People magazine. So it's like we are always going to have news around us. And if we're not actively seeking it, it will still find us. And I think that I like today's journalism because it's more open. Like it's not limited to strictly maybe like a newspaper or traditional reporting. You could be on Instagram covering news. You could be live covering news in a studio. You could really do it in your home. It's just kind of like more open and free, and I like that.
Most definitely, most definitely. I agree as well. I like seeing things change over time. Obviously, we grew up in the social media age, so naturally, our ways of journalism are going to be geared more towards social media because we have iPhones and
Right?
smartphones, and it's going to be even more crazier stuff coming out as we get older. So I definitely see that. So you mentioned acting.
Mhm.
Uh, I personally know you, so I know the journey. But
Yeah.
what was early life like? As an actor, talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I started acting at 4 years old. I started doing like little background jobs here and there just to see if I liked it. And it was something a lot of people ask me, oh, is this something like your parents put you in? Or like, do you really like to do it? And it's both. My parents put me in acting, but from a young age, they always ask me, is this what you want to do? Is this what you like to do? I wasn't really forced into it. And I feel like that's what grew my love for the art. I would say around 6 years old, I started moving into like commercials, booked like principal jobs. Then at 8 years old, like signing with a management company. Had an agent at 6. And then from there, just doing TV and my first film, King Richard, not too long ago. So it's definitely been a long journey, almost 16 years. And I'm almost a veteran in a sense, but at the same time, I'm still getting started. I'm still learning new things every day. And I've just like had the privilege to work with so many amazing individuals and learn so much just from, being on set.
I have a question. This is
Okay.
just personally
Okay.
for me. Um, I have a question about acting itself. Do you think if someone were to come up to you and say, "Hey, Danielle, right? I'm trying to be an actor,
Yeah.
but I don't really have the formal training, or
Mhm.
I've never really taken an official acting class. Do you think that you need acting class to be an actor, or do you think because this is my take on it as somebody who's trying to get into acting,
Mhm.
I obviously didn't start at 4, but um, I find it interesting that you can be somewhat gifted.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you like just have naturally, but
Yeah.
I think do you think you need it to be a great actor? Like, do you think you need the acting classes, the uh, script classes, the scene study classes? Do you think you need all of those to be considered a great actor?
I think there's a lot of actors who we know and love who have no training. I think it really just depends on the person. Like Eddie Murphy, for example,
Mm.
not much training, not many classes. He auditioned one time in his entire life. And he's had a career for decades and decades. His first audition was for SNL. He booked it and he never auditioned again for anything else. So it's like some people just have that natural talent. But I personally think that for me, being in class is one of the best things. Um, because it allows you to like work with others. It allows you to make mistakes. It allows you to see other people performing and say, okay, well, I see that they're doing this thing. Let me try this or let me tweak it and make it my own. It allows you to just observe and be taught and kind of molded, which can definitely help you in this industry. Um, whether it's like an improv class that's like getting you loose, keeping you on your toes for when you go in casting rooms or scene study. I think acting classes help. And as someone who is getting started, I would say classes may be the way to go. But there's a lot of options that are easy and accessible, like on YouTube. There's acting classes on YouTube. Um, Watching movies, watching films is also one of the best ways to learn, to pick up characters and really just observe the greats.
That sounds good. I guess I was just thinking because, like, I too agree. As somebody who's just been fresh out of acting classes, I think there are certain skills that you wouldn't normally get unless you were in the class.
Right.
But I also think that naturally, there are some things that if you're like let's say if you're naturally funny,
Right.
right, you can use that in
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it like, because I don't know. I always thought acting was like just so serious. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see the production and you see people on TV screens and movies, you just think like, oh, it's just super serious and serious, and it is super serious.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like just from the talent aspect, because there are also people that can't act, but they are on screen. So I definitely think that that's interesting. You brought that up. So let's talk about acting before the pandemic versus after the pandemic. Um, First off, as you mentioned, you've been acting for a while. So what was life like pre-pandemic versus after the pandemic? And do you like it? Do you not like it? What are some things that you got for us?
Well, I'll start by saying pre pandemic, every single audition that I ever had was in person. Every single audition. And I would say post pandemic, as of really like 2021, I've probably been in to audition a total of maybe 6 times. So it's really, really, really different. It's a different industry, it's a different time. Post COVID, post strike. Um, and I would just say I really enjoyed going in person, meeting casting directors, seeing your friends in the hallways, studying your lines, having that adrenaline rush because your name is about to be called. Like, it's just a different experience. And now we have to record ourselves, submit it, and you either hear something or you hear it's radio silence. You hear nothing. So that's kind of hard, especially for my personality, because I feel like I'm very outgoing, and that helps me win over a casting director. I feel like they get to see my personality. So the way that I try to compromise for not being in the room is to do my best on my slate. If I have a serious script, if I have a dramatic role where it's very intense, I'm gonna be like, "Hi, I'm Danielle Lawson," like showing some duality, showing some personality, so that they get to see, who I am before they watch my tape. So it's definitely different, and I mean, I definitely prefer post COVID, post strike, but it is what it is, and the industry changes.
The industry definitely changes. Um, you brought up an interesting point about the slate. Really quick, for anyone who has never acted before but wants to get into acting, can you just basic instruction, let them know what a slate is.
Yeah, so a slate is typically an introduction where you're stating your name, things like your height. When I was a minor, I had to say my age. When you turn 18, you just say your name, your height, and your location. Your age is not their business anymore. So I would say, like, hi, I'm Danielle Lawson. I'm 5'4", and I live in Culver City, California. And that is a slate.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
So those of y'all who are out there, get your slates out, get your slates ready.
Yes. Practice just saying your name. That's a part of it.
Most definitely. Just some quick little questions before we get into it.
Okay.
You also have done theater
Mm-hmm.
and you've done acting.
Yeah.
So, theater or acting?
Oh, God.
Which do you prefer?
I love both, and I feel like theater gave me my foundation, really, in this industry. When you are training, when you are having to do your best and you're given one shot, when you're performing in front of an audience, if you mess up, you keep going. It's like theater is like the fundamental training for anything else. If you can sing, dance, and act, you really are going to do well in this industry. So I feel like learning from an early age in theater definitely helped my career. If I had to pick, I would pick on camera acting, so like TV, commercials, and movies. But I love watching theater. I watch theater more than I watch traditional TV and movies. It's just something about sitting in that audience and just being commanded by the people on stage. They're performing, they're singing their hearts out. And when they perform, it's so big and it's loud and it's to reach the back of the room and you just feel very compelled in your seat. So theater is different. To everyone who does theater, kudos to you, props to you, because it takes so much stamina and dedication, and
Yeah.
I got chills just thinking about it.
Yeah. Shout out to all the theater kids around the
Yeah.
world.
Love theater. Oh
It's
my God.
definitely
It's a calling.
definitely the live energy, I would
Yeah.
say, from seeing, theater. You definitely get to appreciate it. If
Yeah.
you've never been, if I encourage everyone, go see a theater show.
Go support your local productions.
Go ahead. It is very good. Okay, so one more little tough question, So
Okay.
you mentioned you prefer on-camera acting.
Okay.
So then we got to ask, film or television? Like which
Ooh.
which do you prefer? I'm not going to say which do you prefer cuz that's making it seem like
That's what you said.
yeah, but it's I mean, at the end of the day it's like which one would you rather? Like if you had to like absolutely just do one for the rest of your life.
I would say that's a little easy. I'd say film. Um, in my experience with the roles that I've had on TV, it's been very amazing, but it's just too short for me. Like, I literally have the acting bug and I love being on set. And sometimes when you get a co-star, guest star role, it's really a couple days, a week max. I had a recurring where I came back on and off when I was on Raven's Home for about like 2 months. But even then, I was like, I don't want to leave. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to have to kick me out.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
the film process is a lot longer. You have your pre-production where you're going in and reading the script and getting to know your cast. Then you have production where you're filming on location. It's long days. You're in your trailer. You're running the hair and makeup. And then post-production, going back in, doing ADR. ADR is additional dialogue recording, where you are correcting lines that have been missed, redoing things like sound. The film process is really amazing, and it's really long. That's why I would prefer film. I just love the aspect of being on set for a long time. Your cast and crew really becomes your family because you spend a lot of time with them, sometimes more time with them than your own family. So it's like you're there all day, you're doing school with your cast. It's just really awesome.
I asked that because I think it's interesting when we talked about earlier just watching and learning through watching in terms of acting.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there are some things in film that you don't get in television, but there are also things in television you don't get in film. Like I think in television you're able to like kind of like because a series is longer,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get to grow with characters,
Absolutely.
and you definitely just the more you see them. I mean,
Yeah.
think of your favorite characters, like you saw them for seasons,
Yeah.
maybe. So I definitely think there's some good in both. Um, so any advice to anyone that wants to get into any type of either journalism, whether it's acting, whether it's theater? Do you what could you give to somebody that's trying to get into any of those fields?
I would say just go for it. Like, I have a lot of friends who are interested in acting, and I feel like they think, because when you think of the entertainment industry, you just think of this like big industry, and it's like, how am I gonna get into it? How am I gonna achieve my goals? How am I gonna be famous? How am I gonna even get in the door? And I feel like there's so many ways to promote yourself if you don't necessarily have, let's say, an agent or a manager or a publicist or like people actively working for you. Your first step is to get headshots. Headshots are basically just pictures of you in different outfits that show off your personality, whether it's a comedic role or dramatic role. They just want to see what you look like. They want to see your personality. So getting some headshots. I know a great photographer. It's my big sister. She's a professional. She's done all my headshots my whole life. ANS photos, ANS photography on Instagram, a.n.s_photography. She will get you right. She's got deals. Gotta plug the
Gotta
family.
plug them,
Gotta
plug them
the
in, plug
family.
them in.
Um, I'd say start just watching more films. There's a lot of master classes on YouTube that are really good. There's roundtable discussions with great actors and actresses in the industry available on YouTube, so you can just hear their experience and hear their journey and really hear that they've had a lot of obstacles and setbacks, and their progression has not been linear. They've had a lot of bumps in the road. But the main thing they all have in common is consistency and staying true to the course, because it gets hard. And I feel like I'm kind of in a down season right now. I'm still auditioning, but like I said, things are not how they've been or what I'm used to. So it's easy for me to just say, you know what, it's not much going on right now. I'm gonna just back up, but I could be missing out on a blessing that I don't even see, or just give up because I'm tired, or I'm just like waiting for my break or waiting for my shot. But gotta just stay true to the course, keep going. And yeah, do a lot of research. A lot of things are available online, free classes. Um, yeah. And if you need my help, I have an Instagram. Please just DM me
DM her.
at Danielle with one L, Daniele, Denise Lawson. So I love when people like reach out and stuff and ask, because I was put in the industry at a very young age. But I feel like I have a lot of knowledge that I like definitely want to share with other people. And if I don't know, I'll ask my parents.
There you go. Shout out your parents,
Shout
man.
out the parents.
Uh, the next 5 years. The next 5 years. I know it's a lot to think about when
Yeah.
you really sit down and think about it. But what are some things? Let's not even do 5 years. Let's just say, what are some things you hope to accomplish moving forward as we're in our junior year.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you're looking to accomplish through LMU and through your life?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to graduation. I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited about, post graduation and like looking at grad schools and things like that. I definitely want to get my master's. I'm thinking about going Howard.
Okay.
I kind of want that experience. Um, and just internships, working, hopefully things like ESPN, ABC, CBS. Um, my dream
There we
would
go.
be to definitely work under like Pat Harvey. That
Okay.
would be awesome. I met her one time and we exchanged information. So, um, just stay working, stay busy, auditioning, getting back into acting classes because I feel like it's just something that also like stimulates your mind. And like I said, when you are acting, it's like a muscle that you need to actively exercise and it keeps you on your toes when you're in classes. It keeps you learning. Um, I want to own some property.
There we go. Come
LA
on.
is so expensive,
It is.
but we're going to put it out there in the atmosphere.
There we go. It's important to claim it, man. It's important. I'm big on manifestation.
Yeah.
I'm big on the power of words. So,
Yeah.
you got to claim these things because,
Name it and claim it.
Yeah,
What did
there
the
we
Clark
go.
sisters say?
Yeah. I mean, nobody else go claim it for you.
That's true.
So
That's
you got to go out
definitely
there
true.
and claim it.
Last thing, sorry.
Go ahead.
Also, just like giving back. I feel like giving back is very, very important. And when you are blessed, you're blessed to be a blessing to others. So whatever that looks like, nonprofits and things like that to, support my community and just give to those who have, helped or shaped me in any way or form.
Most definitely, yeah. Giving back is definitely always cool. Just because it's important to just give back to the places that helped you.
Right.
So I definitely stand with you on that. And that about wraps it up. Danielle, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Y'all, this
Thank
is
you.
my friend.
Yeah, we're friends. So
We're friends.
this is kind of funny, but definitely thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
For those of you guys out there who are watching, thank you.
Thank you.
We are available on YouTube and Spotify at the podcast On the Bluff. Before we get out of here, gotta thank the squad. Tatiana
Yes.
over there on the stills.
Yay.
We got Colin and we got Thomas on the sound and the production. Thank you guys.
You are watching the podcast On the Bluff.